Anyway, the woman said I didn't ask for a 12-inch pianist.
We're actually recording now.
Well, oh, sorry, we started. Hello, welcome to episode 11 of the Fish Tank, and this one has been recorded at Ecclesfield School, the school I used to go to as a child between the ages of 11 and 16, and obtained good results in GCSEs. But I'm not going to go into that. And as there's now 11 shows of the Fish Tank, that's enough for every single player in a football team or cricket team. Or if it's a five-side football team, both sets of teams and the referee can watch the Fish Tank one show at a time and then swap episodes. But anyway, as we had a viewers competition last week for a viewer of the Fish Tank to come and join in the show, I'm pleased to announce this week's lucky competition winner is Joe Solway. Round of applause. Thank you. So
sit on the floor, by the way.
yeah, I'm making him sit on the floor just so it makes me look a little bit taller. Yeah. No, I'm sat down as well, but he's very not very tall. So anyway, pleased to meet you, Joe.
Thanks.
You also work for Jimbo Studios, but that's not why he won. We're not sort of like trying to do some kind of in-crowd system thing. But anyway, first and foremost, I've got a letter from a fan. Mr. R. Crouch sent me a letter, and it said, "Dear Mr. Tank, I can't begin to describe how I feel knowing you've got a second series of your hit show."
Whoa.
What?
There's an S there in front of the hit.
It says hit show.
No, there's an S there. You've scribbled it out.
I've not scribbled it out. It's just perhaps the man, Mr. R. Crouch, was going to write the word show and then not describe it. We decided to describe it with hit.
No.
As
It says there's an S there. You're
Alright.
not allowed to say, are you?
it's a family show, so I'm not going to describe the word which Joe thinks it could be.
It's scribbled out with a different colour.
Look, it's not my work, okay? I got it through the post. It was like this. I've not edited anything. Anyway, it says, "The Fish Tank is the reason I, like so many other people, swear by their computers on a Wednesday evening. Your show is a treat for viewers everywhere. There's no computers..."
No, you read that wrong as well.
What?
There's a comma there.
Well,
It says, "It's pleasure everywhere where there's no computers."
what's you're saying? It should be, your show's a treat for viewers everywhere. There's no computer.
Yeah.
No, it's your show is a treat for viewers everywhere. There's no computer show. That's what it is, I think. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Thank you very much, Mr. R. Crouch. You're clearly a fan, or maybe not. Anyway, it's time for Apology of the Week. Do you want to stay for this, or go for a walk, or...?
I'll go for a walk.
Alright, fair enough. It perhaps doesn't want to stay, but it's up to him. See you later. Bit of a cameo appearance, I suppose. He also works at Jimbo Studios, does the Solway, and very good that is as well. But anyway, it's time for Apology of the Week. On last week's show, there was a lot of wind. That really is down to Jimbo. He had beans and sausages before he came out, and the effects were heard on camera. It's a bit windy today as well. He's had beans and sausages again. So I'm not sure exactly how well the wind will be heard. We have put wind cut on the volume settings, but not to worry. So anyway, as it's episode 11, what can we talk about? Well, as you may be watching this video on YouTube or Jimbo Studios, YouTube has been in the news twice this week. Once, Tony Blair has apparently set up his own YouTube channel. So that's, I'm not sure what he's going to do. It might be rivaling the Fish Tank perhaps with his own Tony Blair tank. Could be, as is, I don't know, in charge of the army or something like that. He might be broadcasting from a tank. He can perhaps get his own tank to film out of, and he might be doing a similar show. But also, the government have today apparently asked YouTube to not show videos of teachers when they're in a classroom being embarrassed. So the government is very interested in YouTube, and therefore perhaps the Fish Tank. Well, the Cricket World Cup, by the way, is still on, and England narrowly lost to Sri Lanka last week in a very, very close match. And it's a little known fact that Sri Lanka used to be called Ceylon. That's the old name of Sri Lanka. And I was in a lecture recently, and the lecturer said, "What is a new name for Ceylon?" And I put my hand up and said, "The hairdressers." And I was rather embarrassed because apparently it's Sri Lanka, and that's how I found that one out. And that's the way it goes, unfortunately, every now and again. Well, also in the news this week, there's been the release of the Iranian hostages. Well, they weren't Iranian hostages, they were the UK Navy hostages. They've been released, and they're allowed to sell the stories for up to six-figure sums by the sounds of it. To which some people have said, you can now just buy your own sailor. By the way, if Graham Norton's watching this, that's not what it means, okay? You can't actually, you can have rights to an interview, you can't actually buy your own sailor. That's if you're a fan, Graham. I'm not sure if you are. Same applies if you're Julian Clarion watching this. You can't buy your own sailor. So that's about it that's happened this week as far as I'm aware. It's time, as ever, to read out the headline and quotation, which have currently blown out of my hand and blown away, but not to worry. Bit of an outtake there, but we're going to keep it in. Oh, before we do this, by the way, I should really reveal the Celebometer results. On last week's show, we asked for David Blunkett to perhaps appear on the Celebometer. We rang him up and requested a meeting before he could appear. He said he couldn't see us and can't see us anytime soon, so he probably won't be able to appear in the fish tank. We did ask if his dog will be able to appear in it, and that doesn't sound likely either. Apparently he's not too keen, the dog. He recommended that John Prescott might be able to do it. Unfortunately, we don't have a wide-angle lens on the camera, so he can't fit in the shot rather. And he said if he was to appear, we'd have to drop him off at the butcher shop afterwards. So, doesn't look like that's going to happen. As we're still in Sheffield next week, perhaps Jarvis Cocker might fancy appearing in the show. If anyone can get in touch with him. If not, Joe Cocker. But I'm never sure if they're related, Joe Cocker and Jarvis Cocker, father and son, or who knows, both Sheffield singers. So anyway, time for this week's headline, which was sent in to me by my friend Nick. I'm not sure which newspaper it appeared in, but I'm sure it did appear in a newspaper. It says, Psychic Museum closes due to unforeseen circumstances. So that was a genuine headline, and obviously the psychics in the museum aren't very good if they can't foresee the circumstances. Although you never know, it could be perhaps that, well, I don't know. It could be perhaps that they're dead, the psychics. It's dead psychics being shown. Who knows? Because they don't like have live exhibitions in a museum very often. That's probably why it's shut. Who knows? And the quote of the week comes from Craig Bellamy, and it's talking about his fallout with Graham Souness, who was a very good football player but didn't quite manage to cut it in the managerial stakes. He said, Souness has gone behind my back, in front of my face. So I'm not sure what Craig Bellamy's talking about. Perhaps he went and attacked Graham Souness with a golf club eventually, like he did with John Arne Riise apparently recently. So that's Craig Bellamy for you, he's Welsh. That's not why he said it, but he is Welsh. And plays for Liverpool. So that brings the end of this week's fish tank on location at my old school. Not sure what I'm up to for the rest of the week, although the Grand National is on this Saturday. So my tip, I've got a couple of horses written down that you might be keen to back. There's this one, it's Hung Like a Human. Apparently that could be a good runner. And also Government Policy on YouTube. That one's blinkered. So, see you next week. I think I saw some grass.